नरं चैव देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरद्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते सप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुस्ते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम्। हरे कृष्णा। So welcome to our Bhakti Vaibhav Bhakti Vaibhav fourth canto, Prathumara section, chapter 23 we are in. We'll just see this summary. So chapter 22, as we discussed also, summary also 2-3 times. So the main points, main themes at least we can remember the themes so that we can try to meditate, or whenever we have some points to share or discuss or to read or study, you can always refer to the sections. So chapter 23, basically, anyone of you want to remember something from what we trying to discuss?
Yeah, Prabhuji, we saw that how Prithu Maharaj, this word Krishna comes there. And he meditated on the lotus feet of Krishna. And in the
Correct.
Brahmavata platform, he gave up his body.
Yes. So why he is performing, though he is a bhakti yogi, why he is performing all these austerities and tapasya, yoga, muktasana? Why he has to perform?
Prabhupada gives an example, analogy that he wants to set an example for the common man to follow.
Yeah, so Vanaprastha life, he wanted to set an example for Vanaprasthas. Very good. One more point we discussed about Vishwanath Thakur mentioning Bhakti yoga is sufficient. Now, why he has to perform going to forest, doing the austerity of Panchatapa, 4 fires on top of sun, rains, winter, submerging in waters. But this is not Bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga is Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. And he also prayed that I always want to thousands of years Karanayatam. So he prayed in chapter 20 that I always want to be in association of devotees. Mahamruja. Katha he wants to hear. But it seems different here. What is undergoing in Vanaprastha life, tapasya, yoga. We discussed one example. You remember that example of medicine. Anybody remember medicine example? Okay, digestive medicine. One more clue. No. Okay. So there, Krishna Consciousness mentioning that though the digestion power in the stomach itself is sufficient to digest the food, whatever one eats. But to hasten or to quicken up the process, one may take some extra medicine, some pill, digestive pill, so that it becomes little faster digestion. So digestive aid. Generally, the example is given those who don't have proper digestion, aid is given generally. But this example is a little different. Though one is very high, good digestive power, but still it takes just to quicken up the process. So that's how the example of Vishnu Jagadaguru given. Though bhakti is sufficient to destroy gross and subtle bodies, but his eagerness is compared here. The eagerness to serve the Lord in Vaikuntha as early as possible. So that's why he's adding up this yoga and tapa to the processes. Though his aim is to please Krishna, though his aim is always to please Krishna, as one of the verses mentioned. But the main point of the whole section is his eagerness to meet the Lord, serve the Lord, please the Lord. As that he took up this process as well. And also, as you mentioned, Vanaprastha life means a lot of tapasya. That also is from external point of view, bahya karan, external reason, internal reasons. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is appearing now. He has external reasons and internal reasons. The external reason to show society, are you there and still home? Come on, it's a age. It's a age for a Vanaprastha life. Of 50, 55. One should not be too much, be in terms of too much taking up or increasing rather the responsibilities at that age. Rather, one should reduce material responsibilities. Generally, people may start also startups at the age of 60, 70 also they will start up. Or let us start something because they want to do something. Living entity cannot sit even for they want to do something. So just like we see in villages also, in even in towns also, old people want to do something. They will take up some construction or old house, new house they will do or something. They keep on doing some business. Go and sit there and do something. Unless one body is very frail, that time only they will try to. That time also they keep on giving advices how to do.
One this connection, Prabhu. I
Yeah.
remember in Pune, many places, if you go to the internal part of Pune, after they retire, they put up a small shop and sell this mobile recharge vouchers, 10 rupees vouchers like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite difficult to see the train. Train coming at the speed of 100, and suddenly it cannot brake. Not 50, 60. It cannot stop. The what is it called? It's a physical term is there that inertia of motion they call in physics. The inertia of motion is so high. I mean, it cannot stop only. It has to go slow again, slowly, and come to stop. So inertia of motion is so high. Just like if you switch off fan, it keeps on running. It's like that. Retirement also, it's not like a break. So basically, the tendency we can see that they want to take up something, they want to do something. So, but that is, yeah, you can do it, but try to change the field. One can do it, encouraged, one can do it, no problem, but change the field of activities. You can do much more in the spiritual field. Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions that I am inspired by seeing materialists working so hard, but only for few paisas. But the same enthusiasm I want to have to work for Krishna after retiring from his court duties. So he was very much active in terms of doing something for Krishna, tangible. So that's the main aspect here. Pruthumara is saying he wanted to set an example, my dear sirs. Please change the field of activities, try to do something for ultimate salvation. That is an external reason. Internal reason is he was to hasten up, quicken up, faster to meet Krishna as early as possible. That's how he gave up the body. So that we have seen till 18 verses. So 19 to 22, we will see how Mother Archie performing so many austerities and amazing theme. How a wife follows husband or a disciple should follow spiritual master instructions, spiritual master services. How simply by that one achieves perfection. And how it is even glorified by the wives of Devatas. The act of Archi even recognized and glorified by the Devatas in the upper planetary systems. So that is one of the main point. That means another subtle point is they performed karma and went to Swargaloka. But greater than us is Archi because she performed bhakti and she is going beyond us, Vaikuntha. So karma, bhakti is greater than karma. This also is an internal reason that how internal insight that how she is. They are showing how the Archie's austerities were much greater and deeper in terms of bhakti is greater than our own karmic activities, karma kanda. What we did and we came to Swarga. So these are some subtle points shared by His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. Externally, they performed the karma. They came to Swarga, but she performed bhakti to her husband and to Supreme Lord. She's achieving Vaikuntha. And basically, they are very much surprised and appreciating and glorifying the dedication, the devotion, determination of Archie. So, finally, many verses are also more than around 10, 12 verses are glorifying the results. Falashruti is also given by Maitreya. Okay, we want to complete because we have so many classes. Of course, the content also little more deeper in the 22nd and 24th, little more deeper. Lord Shiva's, I don't know how much we'll try to cover. At the same time, we want to also not rush too much. Okay, we'll just read. I'm just showing the summary so that, okay, we'll read summary from there. So that something will stick to our consciousness. For 23rd. So when we keep on reading the at least summary part, we'll understand what is going on, what we read, some points used. Yes. Someone can read summary 1 to 11. Are you able to see
Mataji,
this?
you want to read? Parmeshwari Mataji would like to read? Unmute you, Mataji.
The font is
Please
very
read, Mataji.
small. Yes, Prabhu. Yes. From verse 1 to 11 is no?
Yes, from here you can read.
Yes,
When
Prabhu.
Maharaj Prithu.
When Maharaj Prithu became old, he divided all his property among his sons and appointed them to rule them left. His citizens, who were almost crying to separation, and went to the forest alone with his wife to perform serious austerities. He ate the trunks and the roots of trees, and sometimes he ate fruits and dried leaves. And for some weeks he drank only water. Sometimes he lived simply by breathing air. Pruthi Maharaj exposed himself to uh, extremes of heat, cold, and rain, and would sleep on the bare floor. He underwent these austerities for the satisfaction of Krishna alone. Following the path of spiritual advancement, advised by Sanat Kumara Maharaj, Prutu worshipped Krishna. He gave up yoga and jnana, losing interest in their goals, having realized that devotional service to Krishna is life's ultimate goal. Next also, Prabhu.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu. Maharaj Prithu and sat in the
Muktasana.
Muktasana and gradually raised his life air to the hole in his skull, giving up all the material desires. He merged in the elements, comparing his body into the universal reservoirs of these elements, and then he merged each of the gross and subtle elements into its source. Thus, situated in his original constitutional position of Krishna's consciousness, he gave up his body. Verse 19 to 28, following the great masters, Maharaj Prutu's wife Archi followed her husband's path in the forest. She also lay down on the forest floor and eating only the fruits, flowers and leaves. She became frail and thin. Yet, because of her pleasure of serving to her husband, she did not feel any difficulties. Internal. Okay. When Queen Archie saw her husband has passed away, she built a fire and placed the body of her husband in it. And after circumambulating the fire, she entered its flames, thinking of her husband. By the thousands of wives of demigods, along with their husbands, glorified the queen's faithful service to her husband, by which she attained his destination, as well as her power of devotional service.
Yes.
Verse Maitreya explains various benefits of hearing the narrations of Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj
Yes.
and goes to forest. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So we are in the text 19. We need to start. So he gave up his body, cross body, subtle body, attained. Where he went will come little later. But gave up body, but went back to Vaikuntha. Along with him, also Archie is also going. So her path, her activities were described now a little more detail, 3-4 verses. And then Devatas, all the Devatas, Devis are there glorifying Archie. We will see that. But the main point here, last time also we discussed in the initial part, but how, though she was serving with great difficulty, she did not feel the difficulty. So life may have some problems, but they may not affect us. Just like when we are sitting in room in a house. So especially in rainy season or summer season, when we are sitting in the room or house, maybe thunderbolts may be falling outside, or lot of rain is coming outside, or in summer it may be blazing sun outside. But as long as we are there inside, we may be hearing the sounds or the air, etc., like a storm, the thunders, a lot of heat. Externally, we may be seeing that, but we are not feeling it. We are not, because we are inside the home, safely protected by the walls. So similarly, the more we realize internally how we are not the body, we are the soul, or we are very much related to Krishna, and we are absorbed in that relationship. Yeah, we understand something is happening in our life, in different phases of life, but still we are not affected by those, we are not carried away by those things. So that's the one of the main aspect that we slowly have to realize how we are different from the body, we are a spirit soul, and we have a relationship with Krishna, and we are absorbed in that relationship. When we are more into that kind of consciousness, the more we are not disturbed by the external situation that come upon our lives. So definitely it's a very high, lofty realization. I'm just speaking that we need to come to that kind of realization as we practice spiritual life. So that comes just like we can take examples of all the great personalities, Prabhupada and Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktivedanta Thakur, many acharyas. So though externally they have so many issues and problems, and socially, family-wise, physically, at every level they may have issues, but the purpose is very strong. They are not affected by those difficulties because they are deriving pleasure by from serving Krishna, focused on serving Krishna. So the externals are not affecting much. They are deriving great pleasure. So that's how we need to slowly. Just like one is absorbed. Let us suppose same example of house, and I am not just sitting, but I am just enjoying with my family or children, or I am enjoying a feast. And then when he's absorbed in a friend, let us suppose a family came, one more family came, family friends came from distance after a long time. We are just talking, and sharing so many things in the house. But externally, what is happening, we don't even notice on. I mean, we don't even understand how rain came and went when. So like that, many times we have experience when we are absorbed in something. So that's the absorption when we are absorbed internally. Externally, though we understand something is happening externally, but we are not affected by that. So that's the main point here. She is trying to experience a great pleasure in serving her husband. Though externally, so much of difficulty is there. It's not so easy. She born up as a king. Prabhupada explains that one. And in king's family, she's a royal family. In the palaces, especially mothers, I mean, they don't come out of the palace. What to speak of generally. Exceptions are always there. Kshatriya Ranis are very much also glorified. Jhansi Lakshmi Bai are many personalities who showed their prowess, but still generally. So, but still she was not experiencing that kind of difficulties because of some paramdrishtva nivartate. That is one of the main points that we need to focus on, learn from Mother Arshi. And then from the section where Devatas are the wives of the Devatas, they are glorifying the amazing character of Archi. There subtle point we have seen that devotion is greater than karma. So that is one of the main point. Okay, we'll go to direct verses, text 19. So text 19, so 19 to 28, following great masters. Great masters means either husband or spiritual masters. great spiritual masters, husband and wife and spiritual master and disciple. Arshirnama Maharagni Tatpatnyanugatavanam Sukumari Atat Arhacha Yatpa Padbhyam Sparshanam Bhuvaha. Please read translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. The queen of the wife of Prithu Maharaj, whose name was Archi, followed her husband into the forest. Since she was a queen, her body was very delicate. Although she did not deserve to live in the forest, she voluntarily touched her lotus feet to the ground.
So, Atadarha, Prabhupada explains, Atadarha, who did not deserve. Did not deserve means she did not, till now, she did not come out from the palace, as Prabhupada mentions. She voluntarily touched her lotus feet to the ground. Prabhupada says lotus feet here also, just like we apply Padbhyam. Generally apply feet to the lotus feet. Lotus we apply to the Lord generally. Padbhyam. Yat Padbhyam. But she's also like a great wife of a great husband, Prithu Maharaj, the Shakta Avatar. So she's a queen. So Prabhupada explains that Sukumari Tadarha, though she was very much delicate and very great. So Maharagni Tatpatnya Anugata Vanam. She followed Vanam, the forest, from palace to forest. Right, that is the main point. Palace is known for the opulences and comfort and whatnot, luxury, the reputation, the name, the fame, the followers. There are so many things. The jewelries, opulence, and no austerities, etc. in every way. But forest is all opposite. No luxuries, no comfort, rather than more austerity, more pain, no followers, no name and fame, no appreciations, no glorification, no garlands, nothing sort of. Rather opposite will be there. Animals, tigers, snakes, all dangerous things, heat, rain, cold, so many things. So, but still, so that is what is the life, a commitment beyond convenience. So that's the mood of a forest, palace to forest. Because she understood the commitment to her husband, that following husband is the greatest thing, especially in Vedic life. Following Vanaprastha means going together. So that's what she is trying to teach, commitment beyond convenience. So a disciple has to follow spiritual master. If spiritual master is asking to come out of comfort zone, one should come out of comfort zone, take up some stretch zone to extend ourselves. How Prabhupada came out to extend himself. So like that, a disciple also has to follow spiritual master. And the commitment to spiritual master means commitment. Disciple and spiritual master relationship means commitment. The commitments are given more important than convenience. Yeah, forest also can represent foregoing rest. Forest, there is no rest in the forest. That's actually forest. Going to forest is foregoing all our comforts, taking up serious commitments for spiritual advancement. So that is one of the main point of this verse. As Prabhupada mentions, many personalities did that kind of act, going along with her husband. So in Vedic civilization, there are hundreds of similar examples of such renunciation on the part of the queens and dedication to the husband. So Prabhupada gives Mother Sita, Gandhari. So now it's Prithu Maharaj's wife, Archi. So the Prabhupada gives example and says, please read these last two.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. When the husband is king, she sits behind him as the queen. And when he goes to the forest, she also follows. despite of having to tolerate all the difficulties in the living in the forest. Therefore, it is said here, atat atat arha, that although she did not want to touch her feet to the ground, she nonetheless accepted all the difficulties when she went to the forest with her husband.
So there is a feeling and there is a duty. So she did not want to touch. There's internal feeling is there. I don't want to do. But she accepted all difficulties. So here is a duty and the duty bound rather than what internally one feels. One's feelings are being underkept for the duty. So that's the relationship of especially spiritual life, husband and wife, as spiritual master disciple. Not always what I like, what I don't like, what I feel, what I don't feel. No, spiritual master, the instructions and especially spiritual commitments that should be taken more priority. It should be given more priority. Predominance has to be taken over by spiritual aspects. So ativa bhartur nishtaya shushrushaya cha shadeha yatraya na vindatartim परिकर्षितापि च आपि सा प्रेयस्करस्पर्शनमाननिवृत्तिः.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Although she was not accustomed to such difficulty, Queen Archie followed her husband in the regulative principles of living in the forest. Like great sages, she lay down on the ground and ate only fruits, flowers, and leaves. And she was not fit for these activities. She became frail and thin. Yet, because of pleasure she derived in the serving her husband, she did not feel any difficulties.
So the more we give importance to pleasing others, just like simple example of mother and child, we always take example. Mother always wants to see the children happy, to please them. She doesn't feel their difficulties. So though let us suppose a son has to, our daughter has to go to college or school early in the morning, 6 o'clock, and she wakes up at 4 o'clock or 4:30. She has to do all things, cook breakfast, cook lunch, pack lunch, bathe them, see them, everything is right. By 6:30 they have to be out. So she doesn't feel any kind of difficulty because she is just trying to please. Though in general it is generally difficult early in the morning, waking up, cooking this and that and all. But for her it's a great pleasure because they want to please. So generally service is difficult, but service to please itself is a great pleasure. First, there's a little. Here comes one of the main point is that the relationship matters a lot. Unless we have relationship, just like mother and daughter or son is different. In the same position, let us suppose a paid maid servant is there in the home, let us suppose. If she has to get up early in the morning and do the same activities for the people, for the children, and she will have a lot of internal things, so something is going on. Though externally they may do for the sake of money, for their salary at the end of month. They are not doing out of great love. If you don't give salary, next day they will stop. Right now. So the maids, though apparently they may be, let us suppose they may have same age, like mothers, same age, etc., whatever. But they don't feel that kind of great pleasure in serving their children. As a mother takes great pleasure in serving children. In general, I'm saying nowadays maybe a little different, but in general, mothers are supposed to be kind of a great. Basically, in serving, there is a great pleasure. That's the main principle here that we need to experience. We are also generally, the whole principle is if others are serving me, that is that I take it as a great pleasure. others are serving me. But I am serving. Sometimes, many times, it appears to be very difficult job serving others. So the whole spiritual principle is even the whole Panchatattva manifested. This is the month of appearance of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So all the Panchatattva manifested this aspect of how serving itself is a great pleasure, not to be served, but serving. That is the role of Radharani. That is the role of all the Panchatattva, especially. They represent the aspect of serving. They want to experience the pleasure of serving. That's why they manifested. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself want to experience the pleasure of service to the Lord. Radharani is a manifest. Radharani means to serve her beloved Krishna. Service, selfless service, loving, devotional, selfless service. So that itself is a great joy. So that's a very, very high platform. How serving others is a pleasure than being served by others. So that's when we come to that stage, that is the perfection of our spiritual life. So Prabhupada explains many aspects of this, how the whole system of Vedic civilization, boy and girl, how they raise, how they should be raised, how they should be brought together, and how the wife, especially as a woman, how she should be dedicated to the aspect of serving her husband with great determination, and also following in the Vanaprastha life also, just for the spiritual advancement. So some examples also Prabhupada quotes how Mother Vishnupriya serving, taking austerities after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left to Jagannath Puri after taking sannyas. It's called austerity. So she is not just enjoying life, eating and all sorts of luxuries. She's also performing austerities. That's what Prabhupada mainly explains. Yeah, Prabhupada explains more on those aspects. Please read this last lines.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. When one engages in the austerities, his body generally become lean and thin. Becoming fat is not very good qualification in spiritual life, because a person who is engaged in spiritual life must reduce the comforts of his body, namely eating, sleeping, and mating, to a minimum. Although Queen Archie became a very thin from living in the forest, according to the regulative principle, she was not unhappy, for she was enjoying the honor of serving her great husband.
So happiness is not just about what I am doing, why and to whom I am doing for. So that is the real happiness. The definition of happiness changes. Purification means changing the definition of happiness is. Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, this we
Yes.
read in the previous this thing that Mother Archie got the same position as of that her husband.
Correct.
So this applies for the disciple-guru relationship also, Prabhuji?
Yeah, definitely. If generally all the disciples of Prabhupada also very much longing to be with Prabhupada again, right now. Prabhupada also mentioned a few times that we all meet there. I'm waiting there for all of you. So wherever Prabhupada is there, they want to go there. Generally, it's like that.
So
But
the point is, so Mother Archie, I mean to say, Bittu Maharaj performed so many austerities, like very heavy. And Mother Archie also did not very heavy, but she also was very sincere and very.
She's serving her husband.
Yeah.
So
if someone is not spiritually, not very spiritually advanced, but is serving someone who is very spiritually advanced, he or she gets the same destination.
Yeah, especially disciple. If he is following very seriously spiritual master, just like that South Indian Brahmana example we give, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very much appreciated Brahmana. The Brahmana was sitting in front of Srirangam temple and he was opening the book Gita, and a book also not in proper order, in reverse order. He's unable to, of course, I'm just adding, but he's unable to read properly the verses. But his spiritual master told, hey, you read all the Bhagavad Gita in front of temple. And he's unable to read only the verses, what to speak of reciting and understanding and realizing. And he said, what he was crying. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, what up? I mean, you are unable to understand, leave understanding, you are unable to recite only properly. But how you are crying? Why you are crying? Then he explained, my spiritual master told me, I mean, I need to read, I have to read every day. But what makes you cry? So, but when I open the Gita, I only remember how the great Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the master of all the unlimited universes, and also served by unlimited gopas and gopis, but still he wants to serve his devotees such a menial extent that he's becoming a driver for his devotee, Bhaktavatsal. So that makes me great, gives me great joy and happiness. So like that, when he's focused on serving the spiritual masters, no one is not very much up to the mark, but still they will be, by the mercy, they will be carried on. Like that. Special mercy is there. Sincerity. We are not, actually, the whole bhakti principle is not that from by our qualification we go back to Godhead. Only by the mercy of the spiritual master and their mercy, Krishna's mercy, will be taken to a destination. But we need to be sincere as much as possible and as intense as possible. Though we may not be completely perfect, Krishna can make it perfect, right now. What not he can't do. What he can't do. He can do anything. Yes, that is always possible. But if even though one is not very, very, very advanced spiritually, but still if he is very greatly, faithfully serving and dedicated to his spiritual master mission. In Prabhupada's life, only so many examples how Prabhupada recognized the services of Jayananda Prabhu and who else is it? We keep the photo of Jayananda Prabhu only, na, in the Ratha. And the Jagannath Rath Yatra.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Jagannath Rath. Yeah. He's the only personality of ISKCON we had to do even, I think, disappearance day. Jayananda Prabhu. So Prabhupada appreciated his services, his dedication. So like that, many examples. And that applies definitely. They'll be recognized. And if they are very much attached and devoted to their spiritual master serving and intense desire to serve, Krishna will definitely consider where to keep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Deham vipanna kila chetanadikam patyuh पृथिव्या दयितस्य चात्मनः आलक्ष्य किञ्चित् च विलप्य सा सती चितामातोरपयत् अदृशानुनी.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. When Queen Archi saw that her husband, who had been so merciful to her and the earth, no longer showed symptoms of life, she lamented for a little while and then built a fiery fire up top of a hill and placed the body of her husband on it. After seeing all the life symptoms,
yes, that is purport. So build a fiery fire on top of hill and placed the body of her husband. So she lamented a little while. So Prabhupada writes that the word kinchit means for a little while. Why little while? Because the queen was completely aware that her husband was not dead. Although the symptoms of life, action, intelligence, and sense of perception had ceased. So she is aware that he is not the body, the spirit soul, he is there. So from many angles we can try to understand, from many pastimes also. I think one more pastime will come, Vaidarbhi. I think later on will come. Malay Dhwaja and Vaidarbhi. That pastime will come. Indeed. I think it's also in fourth canto. So there also we understand how basically one may be lamenting for the dead body, but immediately one realizes spiritual life, spiritual soul cannot, there is no death, but because we have affection for the personality, just like Arjuna was crying just before the battle, Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara. He spoke all the signs of the soul in the second chapter. And after 18 chapters, Arjuna was fighting. And I think on the sixth day, I think Ashwatthama, Abhimanyu died. And Arjuna was crying and becoming angry and ferocious and disappointed and discouraged. And Krishna could have told her, Krishna might have told her, I told Bhagavad Gita, second chapter only I told. Soul doesn't die and soul is eternal. Why you are lamenting? He did not tell like that. So, there's always the affection is always there. Basically, or a natural affection is always there, but they don't lose the purpose. So here Queen Archie also, though she had that affection, a spiritual affection, he was a great support in spiritual life for me. So that affection on spiritual point of view, not from material point of view. So that's how she lamented a bit and then she took up the action. So similarly in Madhavendra Puri also, in the example of Madhavendra Puri, I think I wrote here. No, I think somewhere else I wrote it. So Madhavendra Puri, where he got the dream that about Gopal. Gopal came into dream Madhavendra Puri and said, Madhavendra Puri, I am here. I am waiting for you. Please come and pick me up. I'm very hot inside. So then once the dream is over, Madhavendra got up and he was understanding, Arey, who came in dream? Arey, Gopal came in dream. So I could not recognize the Gopal. Of course, this was little at the when he brought the milk and gave the milk to Madhavendra Puri. After drinking the milk, then Madhavendra took rest a little bit. In that rest, he got the dream. So the same boy came in the dream. So then after coming out of the dream, then he remembered, hey, who came was Krishna himself. How I did not recognize, he was just little lamenting. Then immediately thought, hey, he gave me instruction to bring me out of, I think I wrote here. So he told me to come to bring me out of the bushes, to bring him out of bushes. Why I'm doing here, I will do my duty. श्री कृष्ण के देखिनो मुई नारीनु चिंतिते हेतबली प्रेमावेशे padila bhumite. Madhavendra Puri began to lament, I saw Lord Krishna directly, but I could not recognize him. As he fell down on the ground in ecstatic love. क्षणे करोदन करी माना कैला धीर आज्ञा पालना लागी हैला सुस्थिर. So he was just lamenting for some few minutes. At Agna Palana Lagi, Haila Sustir. So he wanted to do his Agna Palan. He wanted to carry on his instructions. So he was carrying on his duties like that. So basically we need to carry on our duties. Of course, the emotions, the affection will be there, especially. But still, just like when Just like Arjuna was in a great disappointment when Abhimanyu died. Immediately Krishna pacified him and then again brought back to the war. So, like that here also, the queen should have been afraid of being alone in the forest with the body of her husband. But since she was a great wife of a great personality, she lamented for a while, but immediately understood that she had many duties to perform. So instead of wasting time in lamentation, she immediately prepared for a fiery pyre on top of it. Then he carried on activities. So that's how one needs to focus on duties. Then it will subdue the other emotions, whatever we are facing in our life. So continuing the same thing. Vidhaya krityam hradini jalapluta tatto datvodakam bharturudara karmanah नत्वादिव्यस्तां त्रिदशां स्त्रीपरित्या विशेषवह्निं ध्यायति भर्तृपादौ.
Hare Krishna. After this, the queen executed the necessary funerary functions and offered oblations of water. After bathing in the river, she offered obeisances to the various demigods situated in the sky in the different planetary systems. She then circumambulated the fire and while thinking of the lotus feet of her husband, entered its flames.
Entered its flames, yeah. Basically, she also entered the fire. So once she put Prithvi Maharaj's body on the funeral pyre, of course, she understood that how her husband is no more here. Her husband went back to Godhead. For the body, we have to do final rites. She was doing that. And then she also entering into the fire. So generally the Vedic system, Sati Sahagamanam, what we call, Prabhupada explained the same aspect. So one point explained here that how obeisances to various demigods situated in the sky in different planetary systems. Prabhupada and Acharya explained that how she was able to see the devatas coming and offering flowers to her husband. And that's why she was offering obeisances. She could see by her own eyes. Many devatas came and offering appreciation, glorification for her husband. That's why offered obeisance. Prabhupada explains the Sahagamana, Sati Sahagamana aspect. Prabhupada mentioning how even after 1940, we personally knew a chaste wife who died in this way. So that is a very, very subtle aspect, very sensitive aspect. So some may say it's very cruel. How can a living person can be dying in fire with another person? She can do so many things. But there is a different aspect itself is there. Because the relationship is so thick. The fire of separation is more burning than the fire on the pyre. So the fire of separation from the beloved is more burning than the fire on the pyre. That's why they enter. Just like Madri and Kunti, they were both were thinking that we need to do. I want to go and I want to go, along with Pandu. But Madri convinced Kunti that you are elder and you need to take care of children. We have children now, so small children. Who will be responsible? If we both leave the body, then they will be in dilemma and chaos. So you please stay and I am leaving. So that's how Madri enters along with Pandu. But Kunti stays back. Kunti had responsibilities. But that's the meaning of Sati Sahagamanam. It's not just an external force. That's how it was stopped. Because later on it becoming kind of forcing the wife to be entering into the fire along with the husband. It's not at all very genuine. So that's why it made a law also. Sati Saganam, Sagamanam, etc. It's banned. So Prabhupada explaining some examples also even after 1940. But basically, this is a principle. The loving relationship is so thick and so high, so deep, that the fire of separation, they are unable to tolerate the separation. Then the fire itself is like a cooling for them. So that's how they entered. Mother Archie entered the fire. विलोक्यानुगतां साध्वीं पृथुं वीरवरं पतिं तुष्टुवुर्वरदा देवपत्न्या सहस्रशः.
Hare Krishna. After observing the brave act performed by the chaste wife Archie, the wife of the great king Pruthu, many thousands of wives of the demigods, along with their husbands, offered prayers to the queen, for they were very much satisfied.
So, sorry. So, Prabhupada writes in this regard about disciple also. How a disciple feels, this comes in the Malay Dvaja and Vaidarbhi, that purports will come later on. Those purports are very, very Prabhupada's realizations come out. How a disciple feels, what a disciple feels. This comes in 4th canto 28th chapter, it will come. You will see later on how Vaidarbhi and the Malay Dvaja have a disciple and spiritual master relationship. So he says that I'm just reading one statement, 4, 28 and 50 purport. A devoted disciple of the spiritual master would rather die with spiritual master than fail to execute the spiritual master mission. So, to execute the will of the spiritual master, the disciple should be prepared to lay down his life and abandon all personal considerations. So, all these purports will come 28th chapter. We are in 23. We will come that same section. Basically, same principle applies. Our spiritual master, disciple has to lay down his life for the execution of spiritual master instructions, what Prabhupada represented. So that's the meaning of going along with spiritual master. Now that is the aspect. Okay. Purvatya kusumasaram tasmin mandara sanuni nadatsva amaraturyeshu grananti sma parasparam.
Mataji, you are muted.
Please.
At that time, the demigods were situated on the top of Mahindra hill, and all their wives began to shower flour on the funeral pyres and began to talk amongst themselves as follows. Hare Krishna.
So he was able to see how the devatas on the top of the sky, in the sky, especially on the Mandrama, tend to shout flowers, talking among themselves. So talking about Devya Uchuhu. So they are saying now the whole talk is about them. Of them, they are discussing. What they are discussing? Ahoyam vadhu dhanya cha chaivam bhujam patim sarvatmana patim bheje yagnesham shrir vadhuriva. Is it?
Prabhu, any other devotee can read, Prabhu. I read already 5 verses.
Shiromani Radhika Mataji generally doesn't read. If she can read, it will be nice.
Okay, Hare Krishna. And the wives of demigods said, all glories to Queen Archie. We can see that this queen of the great King Prithu, the emperor of all the kings of the world, has served her husband with mind, speech, and body, exactly as the goddess of fortune served the supreme personality of Godhead,
Yeah.
Yadnesha
Ignatia.
or Vishnu.
Yes, yes. So they are saying now, Devatas are saying, Devatas means the wives of the Devatas. They are the husbands, the wives of the prominent of the demigods, Devatas. I don't know, Devata, we use, I think, for both personalities, we use only Devatas, Devi and Devata, or Devata. Yeah. So here they are praising how she served. Yeah. Sarvatmana patim bheje. Sarvatmana patim bheje. She served with Kaya Manasa Vacha. They all levels. That's why a disciple also should serve spiritual master with full understanding. So by mind, body, and exactly the goddess of fortune. Example also given. Yagnesha Shrir Vadhuriva. So the Prabhupada explains that aspects. Now please read first 3 lines.
In this verse, the word Yadnesham
Yagnesha Shrir Vadhuriva.
Madhur Eva indicate that Queen Archie saved her husband just as a goddess of fortune serves the supreme personality of Godhead, Vishnu.
Mhm. Yeah.
In Vedic civilization, may I continue?
Yeah, please.
In Vedic civilization, the husband and wife were not separated by such man-made laws as divorce. We should understand the necessity of maintaining family life in human society and should thus abolish this artificial law known as divorce. The husband and wife should live in Krishna consciousness and follow in the footsteps of Lakshmi Narayan or Krishna Rukmini. In this way, peace and harmony can be possible within this world.
So what Prabhupada was mentioning in 1970s, 60s, 60s and 70s is, of course, he was in Western countries. By the time only, everything was so chaos in terms of family life. It's very chaos. Now also it's spreading to India. And how becoming a whole social structure collapsing day by day. Quite an unfortunate situation. What is going to happen, we don't know. But so everything breaking down. But that's how our movement has to be a great example for society in general. Prabhupada is urging, Prabhupada requesting, Prabhupada so much wanting that we need to set an example at every level. So Prabhupada is saying that we need to follow examples of Lakshmi and Krishna and Rukmini. But definitely our society also had facing so many problems, so many issues at various levels. But we need to endeavor to set an example on a platform. Otherwise, the society will be in great chaos once we have the disruption of, especially the family life. So all of us well aware that the whole society is going in a different direction itself, very fast and very rapid. No marriages, only live-in relations, and trying to oneself be happy by living and earning some money and trying to enjoy life in various ways. That's what people are thinking, that they can be enjoy without responsibility. The basic point is responsibility is seen as a very difficult and heavy. The whole marriage and children and they all headache, and why is so much of difficulty we need to take. So that's a responsible life itself is seen as very troublesome. But that's a quite an unfortunate situation. The results are entirely different. As you know, all the advanced countries, that unless there is a responsibility of family life, so the whole society will be in a chaotic condition. So that they are experiencing, but still it's quite difficult to handle that kind of situation as of now. But as Prabhupada mentioning, requesting that we need to set an examples our society especially. Okay, that's the main point here, that how basically devatas, the wives of devatas are glorifying Arch, Archi, how she served with Kaya Manasa Vacha, how she took up that responsibility and serving. And nowadays, it's seen as like a shame to be a housewife, sitting in the house and just taking care of children and doing something. It's a taboo. It's like a taboo in a whole society. You're not doing anything. So they feel like a shame to sitting in home. Of course, I mean, definitely we need to understand the situation, but still, oh, that's a great responsibility, raising children, taking care of family, but everything is becoming a topsy-turvy. But the main
Prabhuji,
thing is, yes,
actually, what you said is correct. See, what has happened, even in the family of devotees, or even the families of outside people, sometimes they don't
correct,
want to work hard. They said that we
correct.
have done sufficiently and we can relax now. But there's so much of peer pressure that
Yeah,
they ultimately want to see that what is the definition of a good person? That he is donkey
correct.
whole life. And if he's a donkey whole life, oh, he's a very ideal person. Why one needs
Correct.
to be a donkey whole life? He has done sufficiently, now he can relax for bhajan or whatever it is. At least he can
Yeah,
relax. But
that's
no, if peer pressure is so much, the definition, unless he's a big donkey, he is not appreciated.
yeah. Even mothers also, I mean, they have lot of social pressure. If she's not doing some job or something, going out and doing something, and it's seen as a very, very shameful position. That kind of a situation came up, especially in cities. May not be now in at least in villages and all, but especially in cities, it's too much of a social pressure. That's why we need to keep on hearing and reading, understanding on intellectual level, convincing level, how what is the right thing to do, what is the right action to take up, when to take up. Otherwise, if we just go by people, society, then we only go down, down and down. Yeah, so that's true. Yeah, that's why we need to keep on hearing from Prabhupada and practicing and setting some good examples for others to follow. Okay. शैशानूनं व्रजत् ऊर्ध्वम् अनुवैन्यं पतिं सती पश्यतास्मान् अतीत्यार्चेर् दुर्विभाव्येन कर्मणा. Please read.
Both Maharaj's airplane and
No,
air.
this one, yeah,
It's above
translate.
now, I think.
Yes, yes.
The wives of demigod continued. Just see how this chaste lady Archie, by dint of her inconceivable pious activities, is still following her husband upward as far as we can see.
Mm-mm. So, Durvibhavyena Karmana, by her inconceivable and very pious, very great activities, Durvibhavyena Karmana. So, that kind of, because she was not accustomed to do those all activities and austerities. So, but still, out of great love and respect, honor to her husband, she did. And now she is going Urdhvam. So, these two words are explained for Urdhvam. Going to Urdhvam means what? Going up means where she is going. So that is explained by Prabhupada. Uh, please read this one.
Although they were the wives of the denizens of the higher planetary system, and Prithu Maharaj was an inhabitant of an inferior planetary system, the earth, the king, alone with his wife, passed beyond the realm of the demigod and went upward to Vaikuntha Loka.
So they are inhabitant of lower inferior planetary systems. By karma, they went there. But by bhakti, she's going beyond now. Urdhvam. So Urdhvam, the Urdhvam is indicated how bhakti is beyond karma. So that is one aspect, as we discussed. Prabhupada explains Urdhvam means also two ways of understanding Urdhvam. not only rising beyond the material world, rising beyond material body also. Read this one. Thus the Urdhvam indicates.
Thus the word Urdhvam indicates that the Vaikuntha planets are beyond or above these material planets, and it was to these Vaikuntha planets that Prithu Maharaj and his wife were going.
Yeah, so they are going beyond these material planets. That aspect indicates how bhakti is beyond karma. Second,
this also understanding Urdhvam rising beyond the material body. This also indicates that when Prithu Maharaj and his wife Archi abandoned their material bodies in the material fire, they immediately developed their spiritual bodies and entered into spiritual airplanes, which could penetrate the material elements and reach the spiritual sky.
So they attained spiritual bodies. Urdhvam. Urdhvam means not only the material planets, going beyond the material planets, but also the not material, leaving of the material bodies and going to spiritual bodies. So which would penetrate material sky, Urdhvam. They are raised above. So raising beyond the material body also. Not only beyond the material world, going beyond Urdhvam, not only going beyond the material world, but beyond raising beyond the material body. The consciousness. So Durvibhaviyena karmana. So that means Atsi was entering into fire, and when they looked upward, they could also see. So one Durvibhaviyena karmana, Prabhupada explains from two angles. One is from Devata's point of view, wives of Devatas, and from one point of view, Archi. Archi performed Durvibhaviyena karmana, great pious activities. Because of that, she entered into Vaikuntha planets. Please read this also. The ladies in the higher places.
The ladies in the higher planetary systems were capable of seeing both downward and upward. When they looked down, they could see that the body of Prithu Maharaj was being burned and that his wife Archi was entering into the fire. And when they looked upward, they could see how they were being carried into aeroplanes to the Vaikuntha lokas. All of this is possible simply by Durvibhavena Karmana, inconceivable activity.
So this is all possible for them. They are able to see upward. Downward, they could see that when the fire is, she was entering into fire, and she did a great act of serving also, entering into fire also. At the same time, they could also see upwards. They were entering into Vaikuntha lokas. Yeah. The summary and conclusion. You can read this also. First and last para.
Yes. Prithu Maharaj was pure devotee, and his wife Queen Archi simply followed her husband. Thus they can both be considered pure devotees, and thus they are capable of performing inconceivable activities. A woman does not need to attain high qualifications, but if she simply follows in footsteps of her husband, who must be devotee, then both husband and wife attain liberation and are promoted to the Vaikuntha lokas. This is evinced by the inconceivable activities of Maharaja Prithu and his wife.
So as we are discussing, need not attain high qualifications. So simply follow footsteps of her husband. So same applies to spiritual master and disciple also.
Prabhuji, is it vice versa also? If wife is following, means she's if advanced in spiritual path, and husband can.
Yeah, both it applies. Both applies. She is the wife is very advanced. If the wife is very advanced in spiritual life, good point that generally scriptures speak in only this way generally. But yeah, otherwise also, yeah, if wife is very advanced and if husband is supporting and in always he's also trying to take inspiration and follow, trying to Sir, then he also can definitely come along.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Any example you remember? Who is scriptures? Wife is very advanced and
So we have one example. May not be. I didn't hear about spiritually advanced, but there was an example where there was a person who
Savitri.
was Savitri, some Brahmana was there, and then he got a kushta robe and he was out of the city. So then
Savitri.
he desired to have a relationship with a
Ah,
prostitute. And this
correct,
woman was
correct, correct,
so chaste that based on her
correct, correct,
chastity, she even could get the Yamaraj on her control. Like
correct. Yeah, this example comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita also. Radharani says in Chaitanya Charitamrita Antalila, 20th chapter, she gives this example. How how I am dedicated to serve in spite of anything that my Lord may do with me. So she gives this example of how this lady is determined to serve her husband in spite of all whatever it may happen. So she stopped the sun also. I think there was a curse from Markandeya Rishi, I think, and he cursed that by night, by the rise of the sun, he will die. Oh, like that? Okay, let me see how the sun will rise. She said, "Come on." She said, sun will not rise. Practically whole world was stopped, everything. So yeah, that's great personalities are there in history. So great advanced wives in spiritual life. Definitely, if a husband is very sincere and very chaste and very following, trying to take inspiration, not giving troubles or not doing all kinds of mischief, etc., then he will also get credits.
so one example I could remember of a wife being an exalted devotee when the husband is not. However, the wife still remains chaste to the husband. Is about this Tulasi and her husband. This Daitya son. What was his name?
I think his name was Shah. It comes, no? Shah. On
That
some
Suraraj, something like that. The name is there.
something on Shah it comes. I don't remember immediately, but yeah, she was very chaste, and Vishnu comes and spoils chastity,
Yeah,
and that's how he was killed. That was Maharani's pastime. That
Jalandhar.
Dharandhar, Jalandhar.
Jalandhar.
Sorry, Jalandhar. Correct, Jalandhar. Shah, not Shah, Jalandhar. Sorry, thank you. Yeah, correct.
so nice
Tulsi is
to see that
great.
example too. That she is a devotee of the Lord, but she is chasteful to the husband. Such a wonderful example.
Yeah, actually, the chastity is given such an amazing, and it has Gandhari. Can you imagine Gandhari had such a power? Bhima used to tremble. Bhima used to stand behind the pillars. Are what will happen if I go in front of Gandhari? So Bhima is like a personality. You can understand. Bhima is trembling to go in front of Gandhari because of her chastity. She was so chaste to her Dhritarashtra. So that's that has dharmic, even dharmic power has that kind of power is there. Correct. The principles have a lot of the potency, spiritual potency. Yes. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
So
So
Devatas.
is it not like that she is supporting to wrong things?
Yeah, those, especially in Gandhari's case, the
Not in
aspect of
Gandhari's case, but that Savitri's case, because these all things are wrong things, and she is supporting to that things.
okay, you are saying that her husband wanting see, definitely one point of view, she's not supporting in the sense the aspect of serving is taken into consideration there,
Mm.
especially from her point of view. See, there are two things, especially when you talk about karma is very intricate. There, that aspect of serving the husband is taken into account, but the aspect of how he is doing and all, definitely he may be implicated. But because she had that kind of a devotion, that kind of a dedication, to glorify that devotion and dedication is expressed there. But of course, that is a very, very exceptional pastimes. These are all very, very exceptional incidents to show some extraordinary qualities or the potencies in certain situations. They should not be taken general, like a Jamil case and these are all very, very exceptional cases in the history to show especially some qualities, to highlight the qualities are taken as some examples. So, like that. It's not that she's supporting wrong activities or she's always doing that. She's not always doing that. But exceptional examples are to show some extraordinary qualities, the power of the qualities, especially chastity is glorified there. So how the chastity can do to such a power it has. So that kind of quality to show we have these pastimes, not in general cases like that. That's my understanding. Yeah. But even if let us suppose, even in the case husband is doing some wrong things and his wife is cooking and she is playing her role, let us suppose in the house, definitely from one level point of view, it is said that from one point of view, husband is responsible, just like that the case of Murugari case, when he was killing, Nardamuni asked, "You go and check in your family whether they're ready to bear the sin that you are doing here." He said, "Come on, I am doing for them. Why they not why they don't take the part of the portion?" He went and asked, "Are why we will take? You are responsible to maintain us." Right? No? So in that way, so the activities, the karma is very, very subtle, very, very subtle. But if one is very dharmically maintaining the family, though the wife is maintaining the husband, who is very cruel in terms of doing all kinds of activities, dharma, because she is sticking to dharma, she is not going to get the all kinds of uh, sinful reactions of the husband because she is following strictly according to dharma. So that's that. See, these are all a very, very relative judgments has to be done by Amaraj. Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, in this connection, I remember always Radheshan Prabhu was giving example of our Satyavati Mataji and Jaydev Prabhu.
Ah,
The Satyavati Mataji, because of the association with Janma Mataji, came into devotional life, and
okay, okay.
they were actually from Goa or
Correct,
something like that, where they were
correct,
fish was there, like we eat rice, they eat fish probably
correct,
couple of
correct,
times in a day. So what to talk about?
correct.
So she accepted devotional things, but the husband, I mean to see Jaydev Prabhu, was initially not. So then they
Correct.
asked to the authorities, they said, "You cook." So she used to cook even fish for Prabhuji. And she
Yeah,
tried her best to make Prabhuji devotee, but couldn't. But she just tricked one thing. One day she just
correct.
told that, you bring Maharaj from the airport. And she
Yeah,
just did this thing. And after many things, somehow Prabhuji listened. And then when Maharaj came into his vehicle and they landed into temple somewhere, in that 30 minutes,
correct.
40 minutes, Maharaj made an influence and then it was done. So for
Yeah,
some years, she continued doing that fish cooking also for Prabhuji.
mm,
She Jada Prabhu speaks this in a crying mood, saying that, I bow down to her, I respect her so much. She made me devotee, she tolerated me like this. Jada Prabhu many times said this.
so many great examples are there in our society. how things changed entirely. Because of the wife. Because of the wives, she showed devoted and dedicated, feeding prasadam, following principles, feeding prasadam, trying to engage. Yeah, I also heard that how she used to encourage him to go and pick up many, many times. But that time also she was smoking, he was smoking and not at all very favorable. But slowly, slowly serving them, serving them, serving them, so she became wonderful, exalted personality. Yes. Okay, I think we need to complete and this chapter. Let us read a translation.
In this material world, every human being has a short span of life, but those who are engaged in devotional service go back home, back to Godhead, for they are actually on the path of liberation. For such persons, there is nothing which is not possible.
Hmm. So what is not
May I
possible? So
continue
they are
for
saying all
following?
yellow, blue line, blue highlight you can read.
Yes. Those devotees who are constantly engaged in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord achieve not only all material benefits but also all spiritual benefits. For at the end of life, they got they
They go
go
back home.
back home back.
Yeah, back to Godhead. So now they're generalizing more. Every human being has a short span of life. So then generally they're saying now they should be engaged in devotional service. They are realizing. So devatas are there, devis are there in the upper planets, and they know that this is all temporary, and it's all temporary enjoyment. But the highest is something different. Just like many people know that this is not a very ideal way of living, but they are unable to take up. So similarly, they are all glorifying that see, though they have short span, but they have opportunity to go back home back to God. So who are dedicated especially to devotional service. So we all have that kind of opportunity, especially in this world. Prabhupada explains all the terms, Naishkarmyam, and how in this context of this narration, the wives of demigods repented. Because although they had the opportunity of a birth in a higher planet system, a lifetime spanning millions of years and all material comforts, they were not as fortunate as Prithu Maharaj and his wife, who were actually surpassing them. So, so that's how they are repenting, they are trying to appreciate the glory of Mother Archie. So, in other words, Prithu Maharaj and his wife scorned promotion to higher planetary systems and even to Brahmaloka because the position which they were attaining was incomparable. So, going up means going towards spiritual world means not looking down. Down means towards the material world. Oh, how wonderful material world is. Why we are living. No, not that kind of thoughts. Scorned promotion means they are that kind of scorning. Planets. Basically, they don't like at all. Not liking at all. So that's kind of a meaning. Both meanings. So both meanings are coming from Naishkarmyam, that kind of word Prabhupada is taking the meaning. So, yeah, 28. Please read.
Any person who engages himself within this material world in performing activities that necessitate great
Yeah,
struggle and
necessity.
who, after obtaining a human form of life, which is a chance of attain liberation from miseries, undertakes the difficult task of fruitive activities, must be considered to be cheated and envious of his own life.
Own self. Yeah.
Sorry, own self.
So, yeah, own self. When it takes difficult tasks and good activities must be considered to be cheated. So the previous verse is saying that how fortunate they have the opportunity to go back to God. If not, if they don't engage in the devotional service. So basically they are saying them about themselves also. About us also. We are cheated, we are of our own self. We came here, or we could not do devotional service there, and see how they wonderful they are. They did devotional service and they are going back to Godhead. So in this material world, people are engaged in different activities simply to achieve a little success in sense gratification. That's it. So the envious Visheshu Visajjate Labdva Parga Manusham Vanchita Bhatatmadruk. Vanchita means cheating. Cheating whom? They themselves. Cheating themselves. Bhatatmadruk. Envious of himself. So who? Who? Labdva Apavargyam Manusham. Though after achieving this kind of opportunity, Apavargyam. But Visheshu Visajjate. In the Vishaya, they are Visajjate, they are become engaged, attached. So how unfortunate. If one is doing that, then that means they are simply envious of themselves and they are committing suicide. That kind of a meaning. So basically we need to utilize the opportunity to go back to Godhead by doing devotional service with great determination. Otherwise we are killing ourselves, our soul, Atmaha. So the word Vishya denotes sense gratification. Prabhupada writes about that one. Everyone is doing karmis, yogis, dhyanis, everyone. Thus, the aim of all these activities is sense gratification to a higher or lower degree. Karma, jnana, yoga, etc. But bhaktas, no, they are just engaged, want to engage in service of the God. So the wives of the demigods condemn the performance of sense gratificatory activities as vanchita, cheated. So those who are engaged are actually killing themselves, Atmaha. So Prabhupada quotes that Atmaha verse. One is killing himself. So Atmaha, who got the opportunity of a human body, which is like a boat, and a Guru Karanadaram. Guru is like spiritual master, is like a captain of the boat, and Navasvateditam. So on favorable winds of scriptures. In spite of getting all these things, if one is not endeavoring to go beyond Apavargyam, then one is cheating himself and one is killing his own soul. Please read.
The words as just
Sa Vanchita.
The words sa vanchitaha indicate that once a person has obtained the human form of life, he is actually cheated if he does not make preparations to go back home, back to Godhead. The position of all non-devotees who are not interested in going back to Godhead is very much lamentable for the human form of else.
So very much lamentable. So basically we need to take more and more inspiration and determination from all these verses. How we got that opportunity and we need to utilize that opportunity. Now the last section, Falashruti. By hearing about Prithu Maharaj and Archi, what they did, how they did all these activities and how they ruled, how they performed, how they took responsibilities at every step of life and how they went back to Godhead. So just by hearing this, what will all will happen? First he will tell about Archi, where she went, and then he will tell about the Falashruti. Please read.
The great sage Maitreya
We lost
Hare
him.
Krishna, Hare Krishna. Just a minute, Prabhu.
Yes.
Sorry. Yes. The great sage Maitreya continued speaking. My dear Vidura, when the wives of the denizens of heaven were thus talking among themselves, Queen Archi reached the planet which her husband Maharaja Prithu, the topmost self-realized soul, had attained.
So Mother Archi attained the same planet, Patilokam. So Patilokam Gata Vadhu. So that Patilokam is not of this material world. That is the main point of the purport. Though its Patilokam is expressed. Patilokam, there is Patilokam in this material world also, where the great chase wives they go to meet their husbands. But the Patilokam, because Prithu Maharaj went to Vaikuntha, Patilokam means going to Vaikuntha only, not any of the material planet. That's what Prabhupada Acharya clarify. But this planet is not in the material universe, for she actually entered the planet which her husband attained. So then Prabhupada explains about relationship between husband and wife in Vaikuntha, and how even in the material world also, one's home will become Vaikuntha when we perform Krishna conscious activities and keep Krishna in the center. So the Raja Prabhu's famous statement, there has to be divine couple between the couple. So between the couple, when we keep the divine couple, then the home will become Vaikuntha. Yeah, please read the conclusion.
In the only highlighted part, Prabhuji, or
one who is advanced in country also.
Okay, one who is advanced in devotional service is never attracted by sex life, and as soon as one becomes detached from sex life and proportionately attached to the service of the Lord, the actual experiences living in the Vaikuntha planets. In the issue, there is actually no material world, but when one forgets the service of the Lord, and he is said to be living in the material world.
Amazing lines. That in actual sense, in actual fact, ultimate issue, there is no material world only. Because the devotee, that's coming from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's lines. Grihete goloka bhai, e dine grihete bhajana dekhi, grihete goloka bhai. So when I see in my home the chanting and dancing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Keep on chanting, dancing, bhajans, wonderful prasad, etc. I'm experiencing spiritual world. So that's Prabhupada saying that one forgets the service of the Lord, then one is said to be living in the material world. So like that. So basically, she also attained to Vaikuntha only, no more material world. Though it's mentioning Patilokam. Yeah. Please read the greatest.
The Maitrenya continued, the greatest of all devotees, Maharaja Prithu, was very powerful and his character was liberal, magnificent and magnanimous. Thus I have described him to you as far as possible.
So Vidura asked, and then he continued Maharaj Dhruva, so lineage. So he continued the lineage, different personalities, and Puthu Maharaj asked, he explained. Okay. What will happen? Yeah, continue. I hear you.
Any person who describes the great characteristics of King Prithu with faith and determination, whether he reads or hears of them himself or helps others to hear of them, is certain to attain the very planet which Maharaja Prithu attained. In other words, such a person also returns home to the Vaikuntha planets back.
Yeah, he also goes back to Vaikuntha. So Prabhupada mentions how hearing about Krishna, so hearing about devotees is same. So when we speak Vishnu, we also refer to that which relates to Vishnu. This is one of the main point and very fabric of backbone of our bhakti devotion. That how not only we hear about Vishnu, we hear not only about the Supreme Lord, but anything related to Supreme Lord is also Tadiya. Tadiyanam Samvachanam. So Prabhupada quotes Lord Shiva's statement, how topmost was better than Vishnu worship is worship of Vaishnava or anything that related to Vishnu. Madbhakteshu, Madbhakta Puja Vedika. So basically here the whole point is that even if you hear about Puthu Maharaj, we return to Olakunda Vandham. So even if you hear about Prabhupada, hearing about Acharyas, their lives, their activities is as good as Srimad Bhagavatam only. Bhagavatam means glorification of Lord and his devotees. The whole Bhagavatam, 18,000 verses, very few, some of the verses, only few are about the Supreme Lord. glorifying Supreme Lord, especially 10th canto, glorifying the Lord. Even in 10th canto also, major portion is about glorifying the Gopas and Gopis and all the devotees of the Lord. The whole all the Bhagavatam only glorification of the devotees is greater than the glorification of the Lord. So that's the beauty of bhakti and Srimad Bhagavatam. So we need to hear about the devotees also. Though we need to hear especially Krishna's glorification, etc. So, but we also is as good as Prabhupada mentions, the fact is explained herein that hearing and chanting about Vaishnava is as good as, or even more, hearing and chanting about Vishnu. Or Maitreya has explained that anyone who hears about Puthu Maharaj with attention also attains the planet which Maharaj Puthu attained. So there is no duality between Vishnu and Vaishnava, is called Advaigna. So that's the most important aspect of Sakshat Dharitvena and Yasya Prasad Bhagavad Prasado. So these are all, this is only possible in bhakti. Prabhupada quotes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and gopis. How Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to chant Gopi Gopi, glorifying devotees also. One who sees the devotee and the Lord on the same level has further progressed. So basically, seeing devotees uh, at par with Krishna or serving the devotees, glorifying the devotees, because it is pleases Krishna. Just like mother and children are there, mother and child. Let us suppose if someone praises the mother very much of her qualities, of her whatever, her great activities, dedication, she is pleased definitely. But when one praises the child so much, glorifying and appreciating, giving the child all kinds of wonderful things, then she is pleased more than praising herself, praising the mother. So that's the beauty of bhakti. So related to Krishna, related to Krishna, related to Krishna is who are related to Krishna when we appreciate, glorify, serve. Krishna is more pleased. So that is mentioned here. Now please read.
If one hears of characteristics of Prithu Maharaj and is a Brahmana, he becomes perfectly qualified with Brahmanical powers. If he is Kshatriya, he becomes a king of the world. If he is a Vaishya, he becomes a master of other Vaishyas and many animals. And if he is a Shudra, he becomes the topmost devotee.
Basically, the beyond the material world is spoken the Falashruti, how one goes back to Godhead by hearing Prithu Maharaj, or by glorifying the devotees, is explained in the previous verses. And now in this world, what will happen? In this world, if one is a Brahmana, he becomes a very, very perfectly qualified in Brahmanical powers. What is mentioned? Brahmavachashvi, Ragno Jagatipati. So like that, among the people, they become very, very qualified. Vaishya Patan, Vitpati Syat. Vitpati means becomes master of animals, master of among those people. So other Vaishyas and other animals, many animals. So if you Shudra. So Prabhupada translates Sattama. Sattama has a position of a great devotee. In the sense that Prabhupada takes in the meaning of how if he takes up the devotional service. In that point of view, Prabhupada mentioning here, Shudra becomes a topmost devotee. In fact, anyone if takes up devotional service, he becomes topmost devotee. Hearing and glorifying Prithu Maharaj or devotees basically. But here the meaning also one meaning is given that how he also becomes famous in his own jati, sajati, uttama sajati, in his own. Just like these people became topmost in their communities. Similarly, he also becomes topmost in their community. But anyone who takes up devotional service, they will also become great devotees. So that's what Prabhupada is mentioning. The process of devotional is, especially hearing and chanting, is so powerful that it can bring a person to perfection stage. So the Kshatriyas, Brahmanas, Vaishyas, Shudras are mentioned in this verse. Prabhupada is mentioning that is all born in their own families, not about the qualities, because the qualities they are classified here. The one who is born in those families. But whether whoever it may be, he can attain perfection simply by hearing and chanting of Guru Maharaj, other devotees, glorification. Please read last lines.
A person who is born in a Shudra family can become greater than a Brahmana simply by accepting devotional service and giving oral reception to the pastimes of the Lord and his devotees.
So basically, Maitreya Muni is appreciating the hearing about the devotees of the Lord and their katha. Vaishnava katha shravanam vina vidisham vidya vifala bhavati. So it's mentioned that Vaishnava Katha Shravanam Vina, without hearing about the glorification of the Vaishnava Katha, Vidisham of Vidya Vifala Bhavati. Even though one is great personality, learned personality, no result only, Vifala Bhavati. So that's the aspect of Vaishnava Katha, power of Vaishnava Katha. There is a beautiful verse also in Chaitanya Bhagavat. He says that Vrindavan Das Thakur glorifies that यही वाक्य मोर नाही सर्वशास्त्र का है वैष्णव आख्यान सुनिले कृष्ण भक्ति है भक्ताख्यान सुनिले कृष्ण भक्ति है भक्ताख्यान मीन्स भक्ताख्यान hearing about devotees भक्ताख्यान सुनिले कृष्ण भक्ति है so by hearing about Vaishnavas hearing about Krishna Katha hearing about Bhakta Katha भक्ताख्यान सुनिले कृष्ण ते भक्ति है चैतन्य भागवत मध्य लीला Bhaktikanda 10th and 104 he says ये वचन मोरण है दिस नॉट माय वर्ड्स सर्वशास्त्र का है ऑल शास्त्ras are saying so like that we need to understand the position of devotees and their the potency so that's mentioned here basically by hearing about personalities great personalities everyone achieves their own perfections and especially at material level also and spiritual level also that is expressed in these verses yeah we'll read.
It does not matter whether one is man or woman. Anyone who, with great respect, hears this narration of Maharaj Prithu will become the parent of many children, if without children, and will become the richest of without money. If without
It's
money.
just, yeah. So basically, many material benedictions. Prabhupada says that, Arey, why you are going to Devatas for asking all these benedictions? If you need, you just read about Bhagavatam, Krishna and his devotees. Sufficient. Even if you don't have children, you can have children. If you don't have money, you can have money. All these many things people keep on asking from many Devatas. So that's the main thrust of the purport Prabhupada is mentioning. So you can just try to serve the Lord and hear about Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. Smaranam, when Vishnu Smaranam is mentioned, that is also applies to his devotees. Hmm. Yeah. Now 34. Hare Krishna. Please read.
Also, one who hears this narration 3 times will become very reputable if he is not recognized in society, and he will become a great scholar if he is illiterate. In other words, hearing of the narration of Prithu Maharaj is so auspicious that it drives away all bad luck.
Hmm. So, narration 3 times will become very repeatable. So, Bhagavatam we have to read 3 times. Yeah. So in other words, hearing of narration with my soul is all bad luck. So basically all the advantages materially and spiritually explained. Since hearing about Prithu Maharaj is one of the items of devotion service, Shravanam, naturally hearing about him brings all good fortune. See here directly Prabhupada writing 9 items of devotion service. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. Vishnu Smaranam is not just Vishnu, but Vishnu's personalities, related personalities, Vaishnavas also. Okay, please continue.
By hearing the narration of Prithu Maharaj, one can unable to see.
One can become great.
Yes, Prabhu. Screen was not visible. Wait. Yes, I can see now. By
Yeah.
hearing the narration of Prithu Maharaj, one can become great, increase his duration of life, gain promotion to the heavenly planets, and counteract the contamination of this age of Kali. In addition, one can promote the causes of religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. Therefore, from all sides, it is advisable for a materialistic person who is interested in such things to read and hear the narration of the life and character of Prithu Maharaj.
So many advantages and material and spiritual. So Prabhupada explains whenever we speak of Krishna, we refer to his devotees also, for he is not alone. So that is main thrust of this. Many purports here in this line. But we do we perform bhakti. And bhakti means also to Lord Vishnu, glorifying, hearing about, also to Vaishnavas. By doing that, not only spiritually, also materially also, you will be benefited. Continue.
If a king who is desirous of attaining victory and ruling power chants the narration of Prithu Maharaj 3 times before going forth on his chariot, all subordinate kings will automatically render all kinds of taxes unto him, as they rendered them unto Maharaj Prithu simply upon his order.
For kings, they will receive victory. Yes. Continue.
A pure devotee who is executing the different processes of devotional service may be situated in the transcendental position, being completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness, but even he, while discharging devotional service, must hear, read, and induce other to hear about the character and life of Prithu Maharaj.
Not only normal people, even devotees also. Even though he may be Siddha, not only sadhaka, not only material people can take advantage and should take advantage, but even Siddhas, who perfected beings, Amalam, Bhakti Mudvan. So, those who are situated in a transcendental position also, even he, while discharging devotional service, must hear, read, use. So this is the aspect of bhakti. It's not that one thinks, okay, I achieved highest position and I am no more, no more. I am myself a pure devotee. No more hearing about others. I should hear about myself, and others should glorify me. It's not the aspect of bhakti. Bhakti is just about hearing and glorifying all the way. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be celebrating now, Varpurnima. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is hearing and relishing the katha of Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruva Maharaj hundreds of times. Imagine such an amazing aspect of the personalities like Kadadhar Pandit and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to read and cry and relish the devotion of Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruva Maharaj. They are not always just reading about gopis and highest texts of Rasa Leela. So that is the aspect of Siddha stage also. Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hoya Sadhu Sangha Krishna Preme Janme Te Ho Puna Mukhya Anga Krishna preme janmete ho, puna mukyanga. So sadhusanga, association of devotees is the main route for to Krishna Bhakti, to develop Krishna Bhakti. And the same sadhusanga continues. It's always a pivotal. Even after it becoming a siddha, it's always pivotal. Teno puna mukyanga. So sadhusanga is a mukyanga, even at a siddha stage. What will happen in sadhusanga? Hearing about Krishna, hearing about devotees. Here discussing of this. Machitta matagata prana. Bodhayanta parasparam. Kadayantasya mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So Krishna means not alone, but it is devotees. Yeah. Continue.
The great Maitreya continued, "My dear Vidura, I have as far as possible spoken the narration about Prithu Maharaj, which enrich one's devotional attitude. Whoever takes advantage of these benefits also goes back home, back to Godhead like Maharaj Prithu."
So when we take advantage, we go back and back to God. We'll do the last verse and we'll pause here. Yes.
Whenever with great reverence and adoration
We are.
regularly reads, chants, and describes the history of Maharaj Prithu's activities, will certainly increase unflinching faith and attraction for the lotus feet of the Lord. The Lord's lotus feet are the boat by which one can cross the ocean of nations.
So that's the glory of the great personality with Maharaj and Mother Archie. How amazing the appreciation, the glorification of their devotion, their dedication, their exemplary personalities. So Vimukta Sangha, we become Vimukta from all contamination of this world, three modes of material nature, we become Vimukta. And then it become Bhavasindhu Potapade. So all it becomes Bhavasindhu Potapade. It becomes the narrations of the Lord, especially Prithu Maharaj. When we hear about, then it becomes a boat by which we can cross this material existence, hearing about the Lord and hearing about devotees. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purpose of fourth canto, 23rd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Maharaj Prithu's going back home, back to Godhead. Prithu Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
And the Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you very much.
Keshav
We'll pause
Mahaprabhu
here.
ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. It was very nice. Very nice. You explained many points and it was very exemplary. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
All Prabhupada's point only. There is no any my adding, but Acharyas and Prabhupada, their
Prabhu, you are
mercy we are trying.
exemplifying, so your words count and makes it very valuable for us.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Panchakalparvasya kripasindhusdev jagaditanam
Patitanam
pavanebhyo
pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Amazon, no.